Welcome to episode 92 of Expertise is Overrated, the podcast that takes the time to answer the questions you didn't know you didn't want the answers to. I'm Vib.
And I'm Sean, and neither of us has any clue what we're talking about.
But at least we can now both agree that Lara Wraith is a good person.
I hate that.
That's so nice of you to write that.
I was completely flummoxed. I had nothing for you. So you've risen to the challenge admirably.
I know.
And really frustratingly, because it's going to be really hard to argue with you, I think.
Yeah, well, let's dive straight on in. So, 12 months, new Jim Butcher's Dresden Files. We've been waiting for it for a long time.
We are going to spoil
Everything.
the entire book. If you've not read 12 months, stop listening. Make sure it's downloaded so that we get the download stats. And then go away and come back when you've actually listened to or read the book.
Yes, for once we're giving you a fair warning.
Yeah.
A real warning. There will be many spoilers for something very actual.
We're also very current, which is not like us.
It's not like us at all. But yeah, first thoughts.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I don't know that it was a book that I knew I wanted when I went into it, if that makes sense.
I think so.
I was basically, I wasn't expecting a book that spent 2/3 of the novel dealing with PTSD, depression, isolation, and generic mental health anguish. And if you told me that that's what it was, I would have probably said, I'm not convinced that's the book that I want from Jim Butcher. And I'd have been wrong. Like, I'd have been very wrong.
I'm with you in that it may not have been the book that I wanted, but it was absolutely the right book to have written.
Oh, yeah. To badly paraphrase The Dark Knight, it wasn't necessarily the book that I wanted, but I think it ended up being the book that I needed.
Yeah. I think that's right. I mean, because how else do you move on? So, I mean, obviously spoilers for Battlegrounds and every single Dresden Files book.
The entirety of the
Dresden entire
Files.
season, entire series, rather. I mean, Murph going is something that just had to be dealt with on a scale we haven't yet seen, I think, in Dresden.
And I suspect, so Jim Butcher has come out and said that this was never a book that he was intending to write. This was a result of trying and almost failing to write the next book in the series, Mirror, Mirror. And I suspect that a big part of that was not having the space in Mirror, Mirror to deal with Murph's death, basically. Because that's what the book's about, fundamentally. The whole book is about dealing with Murphy dying.
Yeah.
And
sort of more generally the aftermath of the Battle of Chicago, but framed very much around Murphy's death. Yes,
because everyone's dealing with whatever it was that they lost during the battle, and what Harry lost during the battle was Murphy.
Yeah,
but almost part of the book is him realizing that there's two things. One, that's actually not the only thing that he lost. And that also everyone else around him has equivalent losses that they're dealing with in their own way. And it's a big bit of the book is about building back up his support networks and things like that, which is really, I think it's a really, really powerful novel in a way that I don't think I was expecting from the Dresden Files.
It's interesting the way you've just phrased that has made me think about it slightly different, because I agree with you, right? That one of the themes that this book really covers is sort of the building up of networks and support structures and so on and so forth. Another slightly nastier interpretation of that is that sort of was Murph essentially holding him back from doing that sort of thing?
In a way, I think she was. Because in a big way, Murphy was... Excuse me, I'm also very sick. In a way,
Sounds about right.
I think my house is a plague den. I think Murphy was like a grounding anchor for Dresden. So his relationship with Murph made him feel more normal. And we, as readers, and a lot of the people around him, don't think that Harry Dresden is remotely normal. He's one of the 10 most dangerous wizards on the White Council. Mm. But he's also, to Murph, he's always first and foremost going to be her friend and private investigator. And she sees his world, and she's more and more exposed to his world. But she doesn't, because she's just a vanilla mortal, she doesn't have a sense, I don't think she ever really gets a proper sense of the scale until changes. And even after changes.
Even then. Because, I don't think Harry gets it either, right? And I think this is something we see here in 12 Months, is that, he's always been good at making friends. He's also very good at making enemies, right? Mm. But so many scenarios, when they go to Chichen Itza, it's obviously not just him. It's, someone from the Winter Court, someone...
Yeah.
Just his mates, the Alphas. Obviously, the Grey Council shows up. But I feel he's taking it to a next level now, because I think he's finally just owned up. Because it's probably the first time we've seen Harry in a sort of stable state post his death. And I think he's come back, because one of the things that book really deals with is, oh, fuck, Chicago is terrible and Harry Dresden is no longer around.
Yeah.
And I think he's come back and is just owning that, right? He's like, no, this is my house, this is my home. I will defend this place, and I will do so with vehemence.
But you get a bit of an intersection here of Harry starting to understand and maturing, essentially, into the way the world works in terms of leveraging the actual power structures that he has access to, rather than Chichen Itza is almost him and whoever he can rustle up, right? He barters for Leah's help, but everyone else is kind of just his mates or his family. And then at the end of 12 Months, we see him he rolls out the White Court, he rolls out Knights of the Sword, he rolls out
the Brotherhood of
the Brotherhood of St. Brigid.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even call on Ebb or, any of the other. There's no Winter there really. I don't think. His sort of the little folk, there. as he and the little folk are there.
He's there, and I think we can't forget that he is a major hitter for Winter, right?
Yeah, he is turning into a power with a capital P.
Because part of me sort of wonders, would he have called in Molly or Mab? And Mab would not have dignified it with a response, almost certainly.
But the whole point is he doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to, exactly.
We see the difference between the ghoul fight at about the midpoint in the book, where his magic fails him.
Yeah.
As compared with the Harry Dresden who cuts loose at the end of the book. And they're two completely different people. But more than that, it's because he's willing to lean into that power that he's got access to.
Yeah.
Basically, and just stand up and go, actually, no, this is my home. This is my city.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think that fight... Because I remember sort of halfway through the book, when you'd already finished it and I was still going through, I was like, oh, I'm really enjoying the fact that Evocation is taking a back seat here.
Yeah.
And we hadn't really seen any Evocation so far at all. And then the final fight happens. And I can't remember, but this feels like it may be the first time where we see Harry square off against enemies when he's not completely and utterly fucked.
Yeah, no, he's had prep time. He's got the gargoyles. He's got the power of the castle at his back. He's well rested. He's well fed. He's healthy. He's not fighting for his. Well, he is fighting for his life, but not desperately.
It's the preparation, and he's always made this point from book one, right? As in the wizard's greatest strength is preparation and knowledge, and he actually has it. But the point is, that fight just isn't even fair. It's just he completely destroys everybody, him and his allies, I should say, right? I mean,
him and his allies, but you kind of got to ask the question. Like, the allies are there and they help, but you also, or at least I very much got the sense that he could have probably hard carried that on his own.
I think
it wouldn't have gone quite as well as it did, but I mean, he doesn't break a sweat.
I'm with you on that. I think he didn't even feel the need to tap in, right? Because he would have got to that stage that we see him in other books where he's really down and
he's
spent
plumbing the depths.
Yeah, and then still somehow ekes out a win. But no, I mean, part of me was like, oh, it's a shame that we are getting a sort of fight. But actually, it was a really, really enjoyable one to read. Carlos Ramirez, absolute MVP. I mean,
I love
that
Carlos.
guy just has style. It's insane. Like, he shows up out of a veil because Waldo distracts some people.
Yeah.
Instantly deals with the Renfields. Just annihilates Cleopatra. And then sort of wants to go for round two without also seemingly, it's like he hasn't even broken a sweat.
And I think part of what we're seeing, part of what we're seeing is people like Carlos and Harry almost taking a step up in preparation for what's coming.
Yeah.
So we've got absolutely because we're seeing the world through Harry's eyes, we know all of the deals that Harry's cut. We know all of the artifacts that Harry has access to. We know all of the tricks that he can play, right, with Bob and with Alfred and all of that. Carlos is living the same life, right? He will be cutting deals, he'll be gaining power, he'll be increasing his resources, probably more effectively than Harry. All right, he probably hasn't become the Winter Knight or something like that, but he'll have a wellspring of resources and powers to call on. And what we're starting to see is almost other people starting to make use of those. I think
that's an interesting point, actually, because I was reflecting on this too, because someone like Ebb, for example, and I think the scenes we get with Ebb are really powerful, right? And it's clear that he's a wizard who's interacted with all sorts of nations, right? And it makes sense. But we got the impression, at least I sort of got the impression before this, that the sort of stuff that Harry was doing, right, interacting with the White Court and the White and the Winter Courts and stuff, was heavily frowned upon by the Council.
I think that's true.
So you sort of wonder if it's just the rite of passage for wizards that they kind of ignore that, and you sort of wonder, like, how much is Carlos actually interacting with things? But obviously, he knows Molly, much to his detriment in many ways.
Yeah, but I think that's almost the example, right? He knows Molly, he knows Lara, not to the same detail and degree that Harry does, but they're all these supernatural entities are interacting. Ebb clearly is respected by Eitri and the Svartalfs. Like, Molly gets the apartment in the Svartalf embassy by doing them favours. Like, all of this is going on in the background that we don't see.
Yeah.
Someone made Wild Bill's rune rifle staff thing. Now, maybe it was him, but probably it was a Svartalf. And so how did he get that? And I think almost that's something that we're starting to get more and more exposed to as the books go on.
Yeah. I think Harry's unique in that he's definitely cavorting with the quote-unquote bad guys much more than most of his peers, right?
Yeah, and I think, I wouldn't be surprised to learn if it probably wouldn't quite work, but I wouldn't be surprised to learn if Carlos was close to the Summer Court, or like the Tuatha or something like that, like a more neutral to good nation rather than the White Court and the Winter Court.
But then he's also not based in Chicago, and obviously everything happens in Chicago.
Exactly.
That's why he's hanging around there so much. No, Carlos had a great book, I thought. I really enjoy Ileana as well.
Yes, I think she's good. I think she's weird, but
she's super weird.
Super weird. She sort of flits between hating Harry and sort of drooling over him, which is really weird and not something that makes me feel particularly comfortable.
It's odd. Yeah, that interaction with him on the roof where she sort of just feels him up. It's oddly not quite sexual, but there's a weird undertone. And as you say, but like it's clear that she sort of doesn't like him or is pretending very much to hate him. But there's this weird undertone. I don't know. It's a bit peculiar.
Cut the tension with a knife, as people say.
Yeah, but she is an example, I think, of a wizard who hasn't yet started interacting with anybody.
And I think that's right.
Because Molly puts her in a place in just no time at all, because she clearly hasn't got the political nous yet, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think what's interesting as well is Harry is, in his dealings both with her and with Carlos, is political. Right? He says, I'm not a member of the council anymore, which means this is Winter territory because I am a member of Winter, so you've got to treat it like... Because old Harry would have banged his staff and pissed and moaned about how unfair the world was and how this is the way the world's always... And he does do that a little bit, but he's old enough and mature enough now to grasp the powerful position that he's in.
Yes, and he just uses his words more effectively. We've repeatedly in previous episodes said how frustrating it can be.
Yes.
And he's learning, finally.
He is finally learning. I think a big part of how he's learning is through having to teach yet another apprentice.
I think that was a really good move by Butcher.
I liked it. And I thought it was good having to teach another apprentice, having essentially already made all the mistakes with Molly. Or not mistakes, that's not quite right, but sort of Harry was obviously too young and too inexperienced to really take Molly on. And too close to Molly. And too close to
I think circumstance is a bigger driver of that relationship, right? Because, I mean, it was Molly was going to get executed or he was going to be her mentor.
Yeah.
And then they both got executed.
True.
Yeah. So I think there's just an enormous amount of pressure. And yeah, I guess he wasn't sort of mentally really there to do it, right? Because his previous apprentice had died. Well, apprentice, maybe a strong word, but... So I think... having fits and just the almost relative ease with which Harry is instructing him, and it's all rigorous, and it's like... Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems to really work, you know?
He also he seems to be and enjoy be a very good and enjoy being a good teacher.
Which
I think is really good for him.
It's sort of a beautiful way of ending the book. Actually, I thought when he catches the sunlight in the handkerchief, sort of that moment of actually I'm not sure I will be able to do this, and then realizing in doing so that he's probably... It's a sort of realization that happiness and contentment can come from sort of different sources, and you don't have to be... You can still be dealing with grief and not be completely healed while still...
I think...
at the core being all right.
There's a few very powerful moments in the book. That's one of the biggest ones, but also all of the interactions with Maggie, I think, are really, really powerful. Is that it's a bit weird to speak of someone like a family member like this, but as that lifeline that Harry needs in his lowest moments, right? Why does he need to get better? He needs to get better for her, fundamentally, because she needs him, but him almost learning that her needing him is good for him. Yeah. I think that's really powerful. Yeah. Wasn't a dry eye in the house for the sunlight scene.
That was a really good... Yeah, I think it was written incredibly well, right? That sort of scene where Ebb shows up and they just have a heart-to-heart. And for me, that was the first moment where it was like, oh yeah, this is a Harry Dresden who can use his words effectively and just communicates clearly. Yeah. And it works. And
that conversation with Ebb is really good. And they're never going to be in the place that they were before Ebb effectively killed him. But they're clearly in a much better place than they were before that. than they were sort of at the end of Battleground.
Yeah, but so the end being sort of, oh, let's go and get my daughter and move her in. I think it was just a really important moment for him.
Yeah.
It's like the turning point from genuinely pit of despair to there may well be light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, the sun is going to come up tomorrow, type thing.
And so, as ever, Michael Carpenter is just sort of the quiet foundation of everything that happens in Harry's life. I think if you take Michael out of this book, everything changes. Even though he's not sort of front and center in a lot of it, right? But he provides that stability. I think that everything.
That's exactly the right word. His stability, his solidity, just his sheer calming presence, is so important to Harry. In a few ways, you almost don't realise how much time is passing, because it doesn't really pass for Harry in the same way that it passes for everyone else. But like, Michael and Charity are headed in the directions of grandparents at this point.
Well, they are.
They are grandparents, aren't they?
Daniel's got a little daughter.
Daniel's a daughter.
2 kids, actually.
So, like, that's a huge difference from the Michael Carpenter that we see in Grave Peril. Right, where his oldest child is like 14. Molly's like 14 in Grave Peril. All the way through to now Daniel being a father. That's an enormous progression for Michael. And in a lot of ways, he's still the same character, but in a lot of other ways, he's changing role into that sort of, exactly as you said, that solid centre around which everyone else can turn and on whom everyone can rely.
Yeah, he's like the one. He's like 000 in the Cartesian coordinates of the universe, right?
Exactly. He is. He's your stand-in for.
Is he God?
An absolute? No, I think it's really important that he's not.
It would be sort of breaking, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It would be, apart from anything else, because Michael is flawed. You see that Michael is flawed.
Rude.
He's capable of rage. He's capable of hate.
Are you saying that the white god is not flawed?
He's capable of a vengeful rage. Like, he's capable of falling, basically. And I think I don't want to get into Dresden Files theology tonight because it's too complicated.
It's fine, it's just immortal with varying degrees of capitalness.
How many of your letters are immortal?
Yeah. Capitalized, yeah. No, good old Michael. I mean, we see so many. Like, I think what this book really did well for me was the sort of the little moments, right? Mm-hmm. The moment where, maybe it's not even that little, but when Harry invites Sanya and Waldo to come to just have a chat, and he's super nervous about it because effectively, he's trying to apologize for for trying to kill them both.
Yeah,
and it's just clear that both Waldo and Sanya are like, mate, totally understand, and it's all good.
Absolutely fine.
And Sanya's sort of like, you couldn't have killed me if you tried, mate. Like that's sort of mainly me, Like.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, and I think it's Michael. It is Michael who's like, you are literally the most arrogant person I have ever met. It's outrageous.
It's the second time he's had to say it to Harry as well. The world is not. It does not revolve around you.
You are not the only person carrying the weight of the world in your shoulders.
Yeah. So all these moments I thought were really good, and I think the book does a really good job of kind of sprinkling, I think, everybody in that you kind of want to hear about.
The only person that we don't see that I think it would have been good to see is Marcone.
I think it's quite good that he wasn't really. He sort of shows up by proxy, right?
I completely get why he's not there, and I think it works really well for him not to be there. But I could see his absence almost looms large over the book, but that's clearly a deliberate choice.
It is what is odd about it, right? Is that Chicago is in a state of rebuilding, and they use the fact that it's accorded territory, accorded nation territory belonging to the Baron of Chicago, as a reason for things throughout, and yet you don't really get the impression, because I thought one of the plot points might well have been that Marcone is rebuilding Chicago in a way that will serve him, but we don't seem to see that.
No. No, I assume it's because he's like learning sorcery with Thor and Namshiel or something.
Or just bitter about the castle being
really
lost.
Just seething. But I think it is weird. I think his absence works for this book, because you don't need a constant antagonist. Harry is his own antagonist in this book for the vast majority of it. And you've also got Dracul and Wraith and Carter Lachaise as your like mini antagonists, basically. And at one point, Mother Winter, which I want to come back to.
Yes, we absolutely have to, because that was never on my bingo card.
No, I had nothing. I had absolutely nothing prepared for that.
But I think that's a good way of framing this. So let's go over it in order, because I mean, what is unusual about this book as well is that there is no sort of one overarching case. Well, I guess there is. It's Harry's own psychic healing and mental healing and mental well-being. And
it's Dracul and Wraith's plot, but you don't know that that's a thing until the last few pages, and then it's dealt with really, really quickly.
Yeah, well, let's put a pin in Dracul, because I guess the other overarching story is obviously the engagement, and
yes,
I wasn't sure where that was going, and at first I was like, these just sound like two people who are kind of slowly getting into each other and
slowly getting into it.
Yeah, and then it took a really fucked up turn.
We need to spend a lot more. Spend some time on that as well, because it is weird as fuck, right?
Yeah, but I think it's really elegantly done in that it starts off with the main antagonists, as it were, being the ghouls, right? And this is where Harry nearly effectively kills himself by not wanting to do anything.
Suicide by ghoul. It's like death by cop, right?
Yeah,
that's basically what Harry's doing there.
Yeah, and they're low level entities, because at the end they end up killing like nearly 50 of the fuckers,
Yeah, just because Daniel turns up with a machine gun, and it's like, actually,
Yeah. Oh, no, true, but I also meant at the very end in that fight, like so many people show up and none of them leave, essentially.
None of them do.
Except the ones that Lara's like, oh no, let the one, and they have no legs. It's like, let them go. They can tell the tale of what happened here. It's like, man, that's fucking brutal.
That's dark.
But yes, then I think most of it just becomes Harry having to deal with being diplomatic and political, because his fiancée is an important person of a sovereign nation, as it were.
He's basically going to be first gentleman of the White Court.
Yeah, and I think that scene at the party is really good, where Carter Lachaise shows up, and Harry essentially just makes a massive faux pas, and Lara's like, no, that's totally unacceptable.
You can't do that, no.
But it's interesting, because it's a sort of, I mean, it's a limitation that the White Council has repeatedly tried to impose on him, right? As in, you cannot act in certain ways at certain times. But it doesn't really matter, whereas I think now it matters, right? Because the way Lara Wraith works and some of these old customs...
I think that's it. I think the White Court, in a lot of ways, but because they're vampires, are bound by even more of the letter of the old world customs that Harry is always talking about the supernatural community abiding by. And also, Harry's always had Ebb in his corner.
Yeah.
So Harry could push the line quite a long way, because he was a relative nobody. Like, his highest rank in the White Council is Warden of Chicago, basically. Or Warden Commander at one point.
Yeah, of the American Midwest, or whatever it was. Right? Regional Commander, that was it.
Regional Commander, that's exactly right. But he's always had the Ebb on the Senior Council basically going, he's an idiot, leave him alone, and don't fucking touch him.
Yeah.
The contrast
or a satellite will land on your head.
Yeah. don't touch him, or I will satellite you. The difference now is you've got Lara Wraith, who's like, no, I will break both your legs.
Yeah.
Like, I will.
And essentially the threat of... I don't think she quite says it, right? But that kiss was like I could just essentially enslave you.
We essentially here have the power to destroy each other, and I will use that power.
Yeah.
Like, I will not let you bring me down. The other difference is how precarious Lara's position is.
Yeah.
I think. I think that gets highlighted really quite well.
I mean, I don't know if you predicted Lord Wraith's return. Because, I mean,
No,
as
I
we said, he's
didn't.
the second level of enemy, and obviously Harry doesn't directly deal with him, but he seems to be regaining power, and I just don't understand how he's doing any of it.
No, I don't either. I think it's something that's going to need to be explored in a later book, because Lara seemed surprised by it.
Yeah.
But then again, Lara got out from under his thumb somehow.
Yeah, but maybe she just needs to put the whammy on again. But more, like, the
think
guy
that's probably
hasn't
the
fed in decades at this point.
Allegedly.
Well, he can't, right?
He can't feed. That doesn't mean he can't be fed.
Oh, okay. Explain your work.
So he can't draw people's life force out of them. That doesn't mean that Dracul can't do to Lord Wraith what Harry does to Lara.
That's an interesting point.
I don't think that's my guess.
That's a very interesting point. Yeah, I hadn't
Because Dracul is Starborn, which is why I think Harry can do what he does to Lara. Because I don't think just anyone could do that. I think that's because he's Starborn.
Right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah. No, it's said that, because those guys are outsiders. That's why the Star will have a direct influence over them, and it's the fact that, I mean, my mind was blown and scarred and marred when it sort of flips around and Harry's ended up enslaving Lara.
Yeah,
properly, because he's essentially fed her heroin.
Yeah, he's absolutely got her hooked on heroin, but also heroin that makes her like incredibly powerful.
Yeah. So it was an interesting sort of thing at the end of the book, right? It was like, oh, they would meet for their date nights, and that's sort of what they did. This like feeding ceremony almost.
It's really a bit iffy. And it's difficult because it's coming from a position of Harry trying to do something good for Thomas, trying to save Thomas. It's also good, in inverted commas, for Lara because she's getting energy without having to feed. And it's giving her more energy. But also, yeah, he's just turned her into a junkie.
Yeah. Which in some ways she was, right? And I think I wasn't expecting to see quite so much exploration and explanation of how the White Court work. And I definitely wasn't expecting them to be outsiders.
No, I didn't. I did not have that on my bingo card at all.
Yeah, so that was really interesting and explains so much. And that imagery of like, oh, this is a demon that is being fed tiny scraps. Like a demon that, as an outsider, will obviously want to create the empty night, wants to destroy the world. Yeah. Even though Harry then flips it round on Thomas's demon to be like, well, if you do that, then no more food for you. It's like, oh yeah.
That's a really weird one. I'm not sure how I feel about the interaction with Thomas's demon. It was a bit odd.
Me neither. That's a whole section of the book that I'm going to need to come back to because so much happened, and I know it just wasn't ready for it, right? Because up until that point, like it was good, sort of a nice casual pace. Like one little thing was dropped in, and then before you know it, it's like, Harry's somehow fighting an ethereal battle with a demon while his body sort of stood there.
Yeah.
Lara's doing all sorts of shit. Mab shows up. Like, what the fuck? And then when Harry essentially calls Alfred Demon Reach to say, control Mab, and Mab is like, you think you've got the biggest gun here? And summons fucking Mother Winter? Although really I don't... That's another interaction I don't quite get, right? Because she's like, I have a bigger gun, my mother. But then when Harry's like, oh, contain Mother Winter, as like that could just happen.
Yeah, but it's when Harry's like, I chained up Ethne, and Mother Winter's like, do you think I give a shit about Ethne?
What does she say? Oh, she's a spoiled brat or something.
Yeah. But then Mab turns on Mother Winter.
Yeah.
And it's like, I will take you down. And Harry's like, okay, I guess we're on the same team now.
So I want to talk about Mab
Mother
a
Winter's
little bit.
just like, fine, I'm going home. I hate this game.
Yeah. So where Harry's character annoyed me,
right,
was when Mab revealed to him that she wanted him to manipulate and essentially get Lara hooked, and therefore giving Winter the White Court.
Yeah.
And then Harry does the classic Harry Dresden thing where he reacts angrily and thinks, oh, well, I'm going to have, one up on her. It's like, I just don't know if that can be done, because she's just a logic machine. So her saying that is clearly some other plan. Like, she's playing 17D chess, whereas Harry's playing 2D chess, right? I mean...
Yeah. Harry is almost allergic to Mab. It's really weird, because in a lot of ways, he's immensely reliant upon her. She's his go-to for, like, I need a heavy hitter in the supernatural world. And Odin's busy, so can you help?
Yeah.
And yet, every time she basically is like, I don't work for free. Like, whenever you're asking me to help you, I'm getting something out of that. And then Harry's like, how dare you manipulate me? It's like, that's the way the world works.
He's said this about the Unseelie and Seelie every single time they are brought up. Is like, oh, well, anything you say and do, there's always a deal.
Yeah, he's always,
and yet when Mab shows up, he seems to forget this.
He says to Fitz, basically, never talk to her.
Yeah.
Don't accept anything. Don't offer anything. And then Harry's like, can I have your help, please?
Yeah, can I become the Winter Knight just to save my daughter? And I was like, well, of course, but...
Not just that. You will work for me.
Yeah. But,
they keep comparing him to Tam Lin, which I think is an interesting analogue to draw. Because Tam Lin eventually escapes the fairies.
Well, I very strongly suspect Harry will as well. But I suspect it's because... I mean, because the whole moment where he briefly pauses and considers whether or not Mab has been infected, there's something to all of that.
Yeah.
And to me, it feels like the game Mab is playing is she's setting up some sort of, a moment of victory over the outsiders to end the cycle and start a new one. That, in some way, I think involves her sacrifice or her death or something like that.
I think almost what's going to happen is she is... Right, this is my prediction. It's not a well thought out one, but my prediction is that somehow Mab becomes infected deliberately.
Yeah.
And she's somehow able to get the entirety of He Who Walks Beside inside her. So the whole of that outsider is inside her, and then Harry has to take down Mab, but in so doing takes out Nemesis as well. That's my...
I like that, because I was toying with a very similar idea, right? Because sometimes a Mab shows up, like particularly when she just spawns on top of Harry, and it's a very awkward interaction. You're like, she does feel a bit unhinged, like more unhinged than you sort of see her throughout the rest of the series, I thought.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, is she currently experimenting with sort of self-infection? Is she like sort of trying to vaccinate herself or something like that?
I think she's trying to plant the seed in Harry's head as well. Yeah. Like Harry's having like, what do I do if Mab's infected? Well, if Mab's infected, we've already lost. So I've got to assume she's not.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm glad you're having those thoughts. You need to be thinking that way.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely one outcome that Mab really wanted to happen there, because she also uses Medea's bodkin, right? It's sort of
risky, given that we know that's how Leah got infected,
right? There's something odd about Mab currently.
I think so.
No Leah, actually.
No Leah.
But yeah, sorry, what was that?
Unless the play is to get Mother Winter infected.
Well, see, so my criticism of the whole Mab infected thing is can it happen, right? Because Mab is Mab, right? She always makes that statement. She says that statement, and she can't lie directly, so we know that statement is true.
Yeah.
And Mab is not Mother Winter. Mother Winter is like a next level of,
she's literally death.
Yeah.
She is death. She's the personification of death. But she is also Mab and Titania's... Is she their actual mother?
She's always been Mother Winter, and Mab and Titania were mortal ones.
She has always been Mother Winter, and Mab and Titania were mortal ones. But Mother Summer has not always been Mother Summer.
No, Mother Summer has not always been Mother Summer. Which does imply, obviously, that mothers can
move on.
Can die or move on, or whatever. Mother Summer, by the way, also excellent. She just shows up.
I love that cameo. Love that. Turn up, deliver baby, leave.
And also Mab curtsying to someone was very unexpected.
Not to Mother Winter, but to Mother Summer.
Yeah, but that little scene where Mother Summer was like, "Oh, I think it was good for her to go out out of the house," but she came back and threw a cleaver through the windows. I can just picture that scene so vividly. I think it's hard to know. Mab is obviously scheming because it's what she does. Yeah. It's what she has to do.
But I absolutely did not have a showdown between Harry, Lara, Thomas, Mab, and Mother Winter and Alfred in some guise on my cards at all for this book.
No,
that was, and it came. It probably didn't. If you go back and read, it's probably dangled ahead of you, but I just didn't see it coming until it happened.
Yeah, none of those parts, right? As in, like Mab showing up is. Yeah. I guess we saw that, but Mab summoning Mother Winter was a. It sort of makes sense that would be a thing.
Demon Reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's layers of complexity, and then for also then summon Mother Summer.
But she asks permission to summon Mother Summer.
Well, yes.
But she doesn't ask permission to summon Mother Winter.
No, but I think that's because Mab before then had said, am I allowed to come onto Demon Reach with all the tools necessary for what I'm about to do? Which I think included...
And she included...
Mother Winter in that, yeah.
Harry's got to be more careful about what he likes.
Well, I mean, so many times in this book, he's invited people into his house. I mean, he invited the fucking gargoyle.
I love the gargoyles, though.
The gargoyles are hilarious. It was a very good addition.
The spice goyles.
Yeah, spice goyles, yeah. But that's to the point where the guy, like Cinnamon, I think it is, right, who ends up dying, and they're like, oh, no, we'll put him back together.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Like, give him a week, he'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, no, they were a good addition. Just, you need some sort of dry humour in all of this.
Yeah. Also, Bear. Bear is a fantastic addition.
Brilliant.
Harry has his own pet Valkyrie now. And she seems to be, pet.
So long as his fiancée Dearest keeps paying the bills, yes.
Yeah. It's so good. She's great. She's really, really funny. She's exactly the sort of person that he needed in that year as well.
Yeah.
She's like, just get up off the fucking mat. Yeah. What are you doing?
Just no nonsense, yeah. And just all her descriptions throughout the book are just amazing. She looks exactly the way you'd expect one of the Valkyries to look.
Yeah.
Just fucking huge.
Just like 7 foot tall, absolutely enormous woman who's just gives no shit. Love it.
Yeah, so how cool is Dracul, huh?
Oh, the style.
Yeah.
The absolute style on him.
I mean, the way he just appears and disappears, that alone to me is like, yeah. Yes, please, more.
There's the scene at the party where the major domo comes in and is just like clearly ashen and is like, Dracul is here? And everyone like starts whispering, and Harry's like, "Why did you invite him? We always invite him. He never comes." And then he's just like standing next to them, being like, "Well, I thought it was time to come. Survey the field." It's so good.
It's so good because it's not often that something as simple as him just vanishing.
He's just
flummoxes Harry, right? Harry's like, how? There's like no evidence of how he did this. He was just here 1 second and then gone the very next second. Yeah, fantastic character. So well spoken, so eloquent, so elegant.
Then the way he's like, I understand that people are going to want to come and hunt me down for what happened in the battle, so I'll be here whenever you want. And Harry's just like, but people don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't just challenge the entire White Council.
he's just called out the Merlin and Ebb and the Gatekeeper and Ramirez and Harry and Lucio, and what is he doing? And he's just like, if this doesn't work, tell me where to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he gives them options as well. Yeah. Oh, if you'd rather fight somewhere else.
Yeah, I will. You pick the ground, which is him saying to wizards, I don't care how much prep work you do.
Yeah.
Like, you can prepare the ground with traps. It's fine.
The guy is absolutely terrifying. Because, I mean, we actually haven't yet really seen him do anything, right? Because it sort of said that he kills Chandler, but I think all we see him do is open a portal, right?
He opens a portal that Chandler falls through.
Yeah. But we've not sort of seen him move or fight or sling spells.
Doesn't he break the Sasquatch's arm and like put?
Oh yeah,
and like breaks Listens to Wind's back and stuff like that. But we've never seen him bothered.
Yeah, that's just people come at him and he's quickly dealt with it. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's next level scary. I can't work out if he's. I mean, obviously he's a bad guy. That's not what I mean.
Yeah, he's definitely a bad guy.
Yeah, but he's sort of more obviously, because we've always said this about certain other villains, right? That what's his face, Nicodemus being a forefront, right? It's like Nicodemus does what he's doing to make sure the outsiders don't get in. He's trying to preserve reality, but he does it in a way that makes him a total cunt, because that's what he is. And Dracul clearly has the same thing in mind, right? And just does it.
Well, I think we've got no visibility of what Dracul wants, which almost is scarier. All we know is that he wanted a Starborn, probably still does, and he's gathering warden level wizards to turn into Black Council. Black Court, sorry. Which
is a like, Starborn as well, yeah.
And is himself Starborn. And is on a power level that we've just not seen at all, I don't think.
Yeah, like, genuinely at all, right? Does Mab comment on it at any point? I don't really think she does, right?
I think she does. I think she, at one point, says she couldn't be certain she'd beat him.
So that's sort of it, right? She's like, oh, that's not a fight I want to engage in.
That's not a fight I would welcome. I think is what she's. Yeah. She said something like, if you pick a fight with him, you're on your own. And Harry's like, wait, what? Why? She's like, because I don't want to fight him.
Yeah.
I don't want that fight.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if I could beat. Yeah. If I could win that fight. Yeah. Which is a terrifying thing for Mab to say.
Yeah. I mean, the other things that we've seen that are in that ballpark are things like the mothers, angels, things like that, like extra dimensional entities, right? Maybe Faravax, maybe he's the only thing that's in that ballpark.
He's still just a mystery to me.
Yeah,
but maybe
he's the only other thing I can think of that's like in the Accords on his own.
Yeah,
just him.
Yeah. Which is true of Dracul as well, no?
Yeah,
because it's not that the Black Court are signatories of the Accords; it's Dracul.
Dracul is a signatory. Yeah. That was my point, I think. Like, Dracul is the other entity in that space.
Well, and John Marcone.
John Marcone is in as a freeholding lord, though. It's not quite... Maybe it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But Marcone is also... Like, we know Marcone, he's a known entity.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Lara and Harry, happily ever after?
I don't know. I think the power imbalance in their relationship at the moment needs addressing. I think.
What, in favour of Lara again? Because currently Harry holds all the cards.
Yeah, and I think that's too much of a reversal, even though Harry didn't intend it. I think almost in some ways because Harry didn't intend it, it needs reversing.
No, but I think it's been pitched so well because I feel like Harry has realised that actually he really needs the White Court. I think he needs their support in the sort of the fights to come, but he also just needs his brother and his brother's sister.
Potentially.
When you phrase it like that, this whole marriage is kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, he's marrying
his brother's sister, yeah.
His half-brother's sister. It's weird. Who is also like 1,000 years old.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed the little bit where she's like, oh, we have these parties for people who were there. You know?
Alive, yeah.
I enjoyed that. Yeah, because Lara being quite so fond of Thomas, I feel maybe shouldn't have been so surprising, but in some ways still was surprising. And Lara being like really fond of Harry almost. It feels like there's more to it than just politics, you know?
No, I think you're right. I think it's almost it was initially set up, and when they sort of discussed the terms of their marriage, it's set up as a kind of we'll both be nice to each other and not muck about in each other's business, and that'll be that. But I think what's being set up is more of a genuine marriage. They clearly both care for each other, not necessarily in a romantic way, although watch this space. But I think there is definitely care there for each other, and the final step in Harry's grief is going to be moving on and moving into another relationship eventually, because he's going to live for like 500 years.
Yeah.
He can't mourn Murphy for 400 of them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he can, but it can't be the only thing he does.
Yeah, I think it was so interestingly done where, you know, because she touches him, or maybe it's even when she kisses him, and he's like, oh, you're not bursting into flames.
Yeah.
What the fuck? It feels like there was a slight retcon there by Jim Butcher to sort of make it work, you know?
It does feel like a slight retcon, but also we've only ever had the mechanics explained by Thomas, who is much younger and less experienced than Lara is. So it's entirely possible that Thomas's understanding was just immature. Yeah,
maybe.
But I agree. Absent an explanation, it did feel like a retcon.
It felt a little bit like, I kind of need them to be able to touch.
Yeah.
And so, you know.
So I guess I'll change the rules.
Which, I mean, they're his books. It's his universe. He can do what he wants.
He's retconned things before.
Yeah. No, but I think it's going to be an interesting relationship. I was more invested in that relationship than I thought I would be, because that was my misgiving, I think, with this book coming up. I think we talked about it when we sort of said, what do we want to see from 12 months? It's like, you know, who sort of cares, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
But I
agree.
Yeah, more interesting than I thought.
Thomas as a child.
We saw the evil fairy queen abducting a child.
I did like that. I did like how on the nose that was. Thomas, as a child, he's not allowed to tell Justine about, which is he's going to really struggle with.
Man, poor Justine. I mean,
yeah, she's been through a lot.
Yeah, and is now going to be stuck in a crystal of the purest ice in the heart of winter for who knows how long.
Do we think, I'm conscious of time, do we think Dracul was involved in Justine's capture? Because Justine was in Romania.
To what end?
Being owed a favour by Mab is pretty valuable.
Walk me through that one.
So Mab is owed a favour by Harry, which is why Mab finds Justine. But what if Dracul found Justine first, basically, and Mab trades a favour to get Justine to square her debt with Harry?
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah. Finding her in this book, you mean?
So in this book specifically, yeah.
I thought you meant sort of Dracul was the one who got her infected somehow.
No, sorry.
Oh. Yeah.
It's a stretch. It's a stretch, but why pick Romania?
Yeah, I think I missed that was said.
It's a throwaway line. It says something like it's Laura. So like my mortal agents think they found her in Romania, but then I lost track of them. It's a throwaway line.
What could have killed White Court agents, right? If not,
but why would you pick Romania? Why not Germany or Ukraine or Belarus?
Exotic,
why pick Romania? Well, because that's where Dracula's from.
Yeah. No, I mean, there may be something there. You're right.
And that's scary. Mab being owed... Well, Dracul being owed a favour from Mab. Nobody likes the sound of that.
Yeah. Did Mab outright lie?
Show you working?
Well, because there's that scene on Demon Reach, right? Where Harry's like, "You lied." And she said, "Oh, no, think again about what I said." And I remember at the time thinking, it kind of just feels like you lied.
I don't remember what she said.
Yeah, I can now no longer pull up the details either. Yeah, I mean, somehow this was an enjoyable book, even though it was very real, depressing, some major emotional stuff to deal with, overlaid on top of politics that was done much better than Star Wars could have ever achieved.
Yeah.
And you really get the sense that something is brewing, right? All the nations, something is happening, something is happening. And it's a bit unclear what exactly.
Yeah. I think that's right. I think, as we said, in a lot of ways, 12 Months almost isn't a standalone. Well, it's clearly not a standalone book, but it's in some ways a lot less of a standalone book than others. It kind of slots in really nicely as an Act 3 to Peace Talks and Battleground.
Yeah.
It is just one long book of denouement of the climax of Battleground.
Yeah.
Really. But Battleground was so big and so momentous that you needed that much to deal with the fallout.
Is the wedding going to happen? Because they moved it.
I think the wedding is going to happen, but it's going to be Mirror Harry.
Well, on that bombshell, because I don't know what to do with that.
No, it's just leaving you all with that theory. Thanks for listening to this episode of Expertise is Overrated. No doubt we've said some things that were either objectively wrong or downright offensive. As ever, feel free to let us know. Rate the podcast wherever you can. Check out our Patreon for bonus content. And come chat to us on our Discord.
If you're lucky, we might just argue with you in one of our upcoming episodes. And if you're really lucky, we might call you an idiot. Come back next time for some more absolute nonsense.